Hi, I'm Zethyn, or Jessie, and I'm from 360 Yoga, and I focus on back care and making yoga accessible to everyone. And in partnership with the Woodward Park Library, we're bringing you this video on making yoga prenatal safe. And I am 30 weeks pregnant at the moment, and I have had to adapt my yoga practice. And so I would just want to make sure for anyone else that's pregnant that they are prepared to make modifications or just listen to their body to understand what is appropriate while you're pregnant. And in first trimester, a lot of doctors and yoga practitioners are fine with you doing anything that you used to do and whatever you're comfortable doing. Just being aware that you might be more nauseous, it might be more lightheaded. But alternatively, there are some yoga teachers that go the opposite way and are even more concerned in the first trimester. Because if you have any risk of complications or miscarriages, they want you to play even more safe. So that's something that you should talk to your doctor about and see if there's any additional concerns there or risks that you might have in that first trimester. And when you get to your second trimester is when you really need to start to make space and make room for your baby. And by doing that, or in order to do that, you need to open your legs at least hip width or wider, especially in a forward fold. And virtually all poses, you want to have more stability for your stance. So make space and make room. And don't lie on your belly. That is also a very important thing, that you're just not wanting to compress your abdomen. So not lying on your belly or doing crunch type movements where you're really compressing your abdomen should be avoided. And a yoga pose that's often done in a regular yoga class is called boat pose. And that's one that you should avoid because of all of the abdominal compression. And even doing planks later on in your pregnancy can be hard because there's more pressure and more weight. So you might need to modify those poses and begin to do more hands and knees as opposed to a full plank. And that is just based on what's comfortable for you, where you are in your pregnancy and your yoga practice, of whether or not you can do certain poses at certain times, and just really check in on that. And another way of compressing your abdomen is in twists. And so you want to avoid what's called a closed twist. And that's usually where your arm crosses over your midline because you're now compressing your belly from one of your sides. So a way to still do twists but not have them be closed is do an open twist. And that's by keeping your arm on the same side. And so you can still twist, but now I'm keeping my arm on its own side of the midline, so I can still turn the body and still twist, but there's plenty of room for my belly. And so just be mindful of forward compression and twisting compression and laying on your belly compression when you're pregnant. And then the alternative perspective is actually overstretching your belly. So you're thinking of, you don't want to squish the baby going forward, but you also don't want to really stretch back so much that you can pull muscles in your abdomen. And opposite to compressing your belly by maybe going forward is actually overstretching your belly. And you want to avoid, especially in back bending or chest opening yoga poses, you want to avoid overstretching your belly because you can rip some of the muscles in your abdomen. So just go to where is comfortable and don't push yourself too hard in overstretching. And while you're pregnant, you have relaxin in your body to help loosen your joints. And so you're even more likely to overstretch yourself while you're pregnant. And so try not to go to your end range, stop before then in any of the poses. And this also helps you maintain more stability, because as that relaxin works in your joints become less stable. And that's especially common with your hips. Your hips are loosening, but they become less stable. So really focus on balance and kind of being aware of how stable your joints are. And in order to improve your balance and stability, you're going to need to modify with props, and it can be hard because I know modification seems like a bad word, but use a chair, hold on to the wall, and be safe, right? And that's the most important thing, is to be stable and be safe for you and your baby. And so these were just a few tips to make your yoga practice pregnancy safe, and stay tuned for more videos. Hi, I'm Zethyn, or Jessie, from 360 Yoga, and I focus on back care and making yoga accessible to everyone. And in partnership with the Woodward Park Library, I'm going to bring you this video on belly breathing. And belly breathing is important for yoga, but it's also just important for our own mental and physical well-being. It brings in more oxygen into the body than our standard breathing technique that we do throughout our day. And to start and get familiar with our breath, just bring one hand to your chest and one hand to your belly. And notice first where you're breathing. Most likely it's just right here, right at the top of your chest. Can you now, as you inhale, breathe in and expand your belly, pushing your hand on your belly forward? And as you exhale, just let it soften. Don't need to really pull too hard. And just inhale again, expanding through the belly. And let it soften. Just continue a few more times on your own, trying to expand your belly, moving your hand out. And after a few rounds, you might actually feel really tired. Take a break when you need to. This is just a practice of becoming familiar with breathing into your belly. And actually, if you're seated, that is the hardest way to breathe into your belly, because you're not only trying to breathe, but you're trying to lift yourself up from your seated position. So it's a lot easier even to stand and do your belly breathing, because you're not focusing so much of lifting your chest, or laying down. And laying down is probably the most restorative and meditative place to practice belly breathing. And we'll try one more time, taking a few more breaths into your belly, and we'll add in what's called an equal parts breath, where you try to inhale for the same length as your exhale. So I typically like 4 counts in, 4 counts out. Many people will go as long as 8 counts, and I find that a little uncomfortable. Of course, it's worth practicing up to if you want to and feel comfortable doing so, and just increasing from 4 to 8, 1 second at a time. And so we'll take just a few more breaths here, starting with 4 counts. Inhale, breathe into the belly, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. And try again. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. One last time. Take a deep inhale in through the belly. 3, 4. And exhale, 2, 3, 4. Thank you for tuning in to this intro to belly breathing, and we'll see you in upcoming videos.